Giving back to take back. Learn more right after this.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside the classroom.
Where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits toward my bachelor's.
My college is a state college within the university system of Georgia.
My college is affordable.
It's close to home.
My college has online opportunities.
It's where excellence begins.
We are
GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg, how you doing?
Yeah, it's gonna be one of them
We're
shows.
gonna huddle today. We're gonna huddle
It's gonna be
today.
one of those shows today.
Well, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited.
Why are you excited?
Well, because the show has some African American men that's coming with some answers to some problems, and that's exciting to me. You know, I like the idea of us doing for us, creating a vision for us, and being responsible for us. So I'm excited.
Now, this is an event that I was not familiar with, which doesn't say much because there's a lot I'm not familiar with. But I know Bishop McCluskey, and I know his good work, so that interested me. But I'm anxious to hear more about it.
Oh yeah, me too.
So you've known about this for quite a while because you were the one that brought it to my attention.
Not a while, but Bishop McCluskey, you know, he's been giving me some insight and talking to me, and like you, I knew about some of the things he's been doing. So when he informed me about this, I was like, man, that's one of the things we need in Rome. It's, you know, we have some problems. It's a great city, but there's some problems that we need to be addressing. And I think this is one of those ways we can do that.
Well, we'll be talking with our guest today about an event that's coming up pretty soon. It's an important event. It's something you're going to want to know more about, pay attention to, so stay with us. We'll be back with our guests right after this.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're very happy to have with us today Bishop David McCluskey and Mr. Tim Worley. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you guys for
Thank you for inviting us.
Wait a minute, Doc. I love you. I love you, but two former NFL football players. Thank y'all for being here today.
Yes, sir.
I gotta give y'all that because
Now wait a minute.
a very small percentage. I just had to throw that out there. Everybody, you know, they kind of gray, Doc. So everybody may not know them by name as NFL.
But they're not defined by that.
No, I'm saying, but that's one of the things, you know, they made it. Very few make it to the NFL.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And you made it out as well. So
Yes,
congratulations.
sir. That's right. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the idea behind the event, Giving Back to Take Back.
Well, the vision of this program came to me. I worked for the Department of Juvenile Justice for several years, 9 or 10 years, in different cities, and I began to see the ongoing element of criminal progress in our juvenile system. Looked like it just continued to escalate, and you know, either you're going to be the answer to the problem or you're going to be the problem to the answer. So we came up with, what are we doing to make a difference? I asked myself this, and I began to pray about it, and I began to talk to some of our parishioners, some of the men in our community, in particular the black men, because in a lot of our black homes, black man is missing. And I began to ask the question, I said, well, what are we doing to make a difference? We talk about how bad the crimes are, how bad these juveniles are, but what are we doing to make a difference? And then I prayed about it, I thought about it, and I said, well, maybe we just need to give back more. When we give back, maybe we can take back the true vision of what God meant when he said, let there be man. We're not living that. So I brought together a committee, and I prayed about it. I got a great commissioner of the state of Georgia, Commissioner Avery Niles. He will be here, of the DJJ, and Judge Price is going to be there, the juvenile court judge, and David John, which is an administrator for the Youth Challenge. And I wanted to not just bring up the hierarchy, but I wanted to bring 2 young men in here to talk with these young people that's been where they are, but they made it. So we need to paint a clear and a true picture. And the only way we do this is bringing a multiple people together, diverse in terms of experience. Bring this to the table. I have something to offer. The Bible says iron sharpen iron. So we can bring this to the table and bring these kids some answers.
You know, I want to hear, obviously, I want to hear more about the event and what's going to take place, and more about how you put it together. But one thing you said made me think, really, Greg, of something that you say quite often when people reach out for us to help about something, or saying they need a mentor, or something. You always say to me, well, what are they doing? They're reaching out for help and asking us for help, but what are they doing? So clearly, this project suggests that you decided to take action, and that is an element seems to be missing a lot.
And that's one of the things I'm excited about, because too many times we all know the problems. We know the problems when we don't even really know the problem, but we think we know the problem.
Yes.
And too many times we're not as quick to come up with the solution or be part of the solution. Even if you don't have the answer, well, look, I'm here. How can I be a service? And so when Bishop was talking about this, it was exciting because, to have people actually willing to say, look, let's come up with an answer. Not you solve the problem, tell me what to do. We're here. How can we solve this problem?
Right.
And that's very exciting to me. And especially for me to see us, because when we look at the demographics, leading in far as incarceration, high school dropouts, college dropouts, and so many terrible statistics, we're leading that. And I'm just a firm believer, you can't expect nobody else to save you. We have to save ourselves. And the other people will help us when we are attempting to help ourselves.
Right.
So I'm very excited, to see this.
Well, how did you get talked into this, Mr. Worley?
Well, David and I go, Bishop McCluskey.
I promised him a fish sandwich.
Well, I tell you what, he got me some shrimp today at J.R. Rick Crickets. But on a serious tip, David and I, we go way back from the University of Georgia, and from 1985 into this day. And David has always been, Bishop McCluskey has always been one of those, he's actually been a spiritual advisor and just a support for me most of my life, ever since we met each other. And he saw things in me that I didn't see in myself, but now I know that I have in me that God put in me. And one of the things that I feel like the reason David brought me into this thing is because my experience, I know what it's like to have much. I know what it's like to be a millionaire, a young millionaire, and I know what it's like to be addicted to drugs, alcohol, addicted to a certain lifestyle. And I know what it's like to not have a connection on an intimate level with your father. And that's one of the things that the young people, I call them the millennials, are missing today. That masculine male role model in the home. And when you don't have that, it's trouble. And I found out, even through my problems, every problem that I can point back to that I've had and that I face, it points directly back to something with the father, with dad. And we have to take a step. And I'm a hands-on person. It's just like Brother was saying, I believe in getting my hands dirty. We talk a lot about the problem, but nobody's getting in there and physically coming up with the solution. I'm a hands-on type of person, and it's all about building relationships. We start building relationships with these young people. We start allowing them to see us in the community constantly. That's where things improve. And I believe what the Bible says in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he shall not depart from it. And so I'm taking a stand in that way.
Amen. I mean, we can go to church.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you envision the day, which is very soon, isn't it? This day is...
This Saturday from 12 till 4.
So that's January 30th.
January 30th. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. January 30th, and it'll be from 12 to 4. Yes, sir.
So what is actually going to happen during that afternoon?
Well, in envision this, sometimes you have to know when you get. I've been trying to get Anna K. Davis for quite some time for an venue such as this. So I figured, and I prayed, I said, I ain't got but one time to make it work. So I needed to bring in all the elements that I could to try to reach. Apostle Paul said, I became all things to all men for the sake of Christ. So I brought diversity in to be able to talk to these young men, give them answers. This is what the kids want. They want answers. They don't want you to tell them how bad they are. They already know that. They want answers. How can I get out of this? How do I deal with this? We got mental health coming in. We got some of the people from the David Johns from the Youth Academy, which basically says we'll give you got a second chance to get it right. And just because you've been probation by the court, you still get your GED and move on forward. So I've tried to bring in a diverse personality, diverse experiences that can meet the multitude. And that was my vision. And to nail it off, about the state commissioner, Avery Niles, to come in and cap it off. He's so excited about being here. Yeah. So excited about being here.
I have a couple of questions about what you hope will happen. But and clearly on the strength of your special guests, including Mr. Worley, you're going to get some interest in this event. But how do you go about getting the guys that need to be in the room in the room? I mean, how do you reach out to the community to get the young men in there that need to be in there?
When you put your best foot forward, and you do all you can go to bed and sleep like a fat baby right before Christmas. All I can do is what I can do. But I haven't done. I had to take self-inventory. I haven't been out there doing all that I can. I've been inside the walls having a private party in my church. Mm-hmm. But the church can't do without the community. The community can't do without the church. So somewhere, somebody got to break the ice. Call me the icebreaker.
I'm gonna call you the fat But you bring up a good point, and I think, and I'm hoping, and correct me if I'm wrong, but before we was taping, we were just having conversations. And growing up for me as an African American male, it was the barber shop was the one place you knew that black men.
Right. Still is.
Real honest conversations.
Right.
Country club.
I'm hoping, I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of more, not just this one day,
right,
but the beginning of many conversations and interactions, so that these young men can get to know not just the guest that day, but really a reintroduction to their community, because there's a lot of good men in our community.
Yes, it is.
They're just disconnected from these young men.
Right.
And I'm hoping this will get those men back into the game, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
So that they will re-engage with these youth, because I'm just a firm believer we have to stop throwing kids away.
That is our hope.
And I think this right here is an opportunity for any man. You ain't got to be on that stage today, but you can be present. Bring your kids, bring your nephews, invite people from your church, and so that we can have some real conversations about the pain that we're suffering as a community.
Yes, sir.
I also believe that we have to. It can't be a one-hitter quitter. You bring people in, they speak a word, people get excited, and by the end of the day, it's forgot about. You got to strike while the iron is hot, and this is something you gotta continue, because when we do this consistently, that's where you see the hopelessness begin to turn into hope one step at a time. And it can't just be once a year. You got to continue to follow up with stuff and make sure we have these events all the time.
Amen.
It shows these young people that we care. And if you really want to know how to attract people, serve free food.
We got food.
Well, we need to take a quick break here, but we have a lot more discussion coming up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Keep up.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been having a conversation with Bishop David McCluskey, and we've been joined by another football great, Mr. Keith Henderson. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Mr. Henderson, let me start out with you. We heard from Mr. Worley how he got involved with this. What led you to being involved with this event?
Well, me and David go back a little bit further than Tim. Me and my guy played against each other in high school. Then I went to Georgia.
Which we won every game.
He was down. But anyway, we also went to I played with him in Georgia. He was the music man. Just call him the music man.
Uh-huh.
Anytime you want somebody to listen to some music, he was the guy to play the instruments for you. But no, other than that, he's been keeping in contact with me, just calling to see how I'm doing, and he always try to keep me positive, stay focused, as you might say, and also just being around David, it's a pleasure, because he always has something positive to say, and it keeps you on your toes. Yeah. So for me to be here today, it's very honoring.
Well, one thing that was brought up in the last segment, the concept that it's important to build relationships with the young men that you're trying to work with. Yes. What are your plans on ways to do that beyond a single afternoon event? Is this going to be part of a series, or how are you going to continue to reach out to them after Saturday?
Well, the journey of 1,000 miles always begins with the first step. This is the first step in bringing the whole hope of this forum was to bring awareness of what's really going on. And when you think about it, it seems like a small answer, but yet it's major because that's all that kid really needed. So the whole gist of this, bringing this forum together, we may bring 25 people in, but only reach one kid. But it was accomplished because we're going out one after one, two, and we keep going. So like Brother Greg was saying, this is just the first, and we're not stopping. We're not stopping. I believe this is our mandate and this is our mission in life, and it's been there, but it's just now. Ecclesiastes says that everything there's a season. This is the season. Everything, I mean, it's painted. It's on the wall. Crime going up. I mean, with our juveniles, and you know, you would not see it. I believe God had me in the YDCs for a time such as this because you see what's going on. You got answers, but it's not being heard. So I had to resign from the YDC in order to have a voice that could make a difference. Now we bring all of this experience together because experience, Dr. Hershey, is what brings relationship. You don't have an experience with somebody, you don't have a relationship. So this is what Brother Greg was talking about, coming together, bonding with these kids. You know, when you make a bond, you make a truce, and you know, it just become an automatic connection. No, so I'm excited. This may be the first forum, but not the last. But this is not halfway, you know. the end of this. We're going to keep going. I'm going to network with some people that want to be networked with for the right reasons, for the right motives, so we can get the right results.
You know, it's interesting, Pastor, when you talk about it, and Doc know this, I know for 20 years, we've been, I think, fighting this same battle in our own way for 20 years. It ain't that complicated.
Right.
The problem really is not that
Right.
complicated.
Right.
We're really
Right.
talking about an absence of relationships of children. We talk about these young millennials, we talk about these young kids as if somehow they're alien. They're foreign to us. No, they're our children, they're our grandchildren, they the children of our friends. Every child belongs to somebody.
Right.
And we know them, those separations. So it's really about developing connections and relationships that are genuine to me. The fact that here you are, a former NFL player who so many kids idolize, but you've been there and can say, look, here I am. Ask me any question you really want to ask me. And let's have some real conversation, because there's something else. There's some other things to that you don't see on TV.
Exactly.
You know, and so I think we got to be willing to do that. And as a member of the 100, as much as we have worked with kids, we have to, in the community, we have to put our egos to the side and sometimes recognize we need help.
Right.
Because everybody can't reach everybody.
Right.
And we got to be willing to say, come on, man, join. Let us work together. Because see, what you may say may get that kid. What I may say may get this kid, but we want to get them all. And I think, and I appreciate you for that you come with this with a diverse group of men, saying let's all come to the table and give what we got.
And see, we're looking at Mr. Worley and Keith Henderson. You see the final product, but you don't know their journey. They're going to have something to tell you about their own personal testimonies. That probably some of them kids be like, "You made it to the NFL?" Let them know that life is a journey, not a destiny. And the journey that they had to go by is some of the same things that these young men are going through.
Right.
But if they never hear or see success from where they're going or what they're going through, how can they be positive?
Another thing, we also got to figure out a way to reach these kids, because we got too many people in their ears. You know, a drug dealer may be telling us one thing, and then we come try to tell them something else. And then they're gonna try to weigh between the two. We need to try to come up with a solution, how to go in between the two to reach these kids.
You know what I actually say, Mr. Henderson? I think the drug dealer are more in their ear
than we are,
and we're absent.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
And so it ain't too much to weigh.
Right.
And you know, I'm sorry to cut you off. But another thing is, I think that is because these kids are staying out later and later every day. Like when I was growing up, I better be in the house before the street light came on. If your mama called your name one time, you better hear it.
You was in trouble.
You better hear it. But now they starting to stay out later and later. Right. And who stayed out late?
Yeah.
Somebody's out there trying to get that money. And they always tell me one thing: you out there that late, you're doing something wrong.
Ain't nothing good out there.
Ain't nothing doing out there good.
Yeah. But Mr. Shropshire, you said something so prophetic. The problem's really not hard. It's just building relationships. Back to old homiletics, being friends, trusting people. And I admit, I fell into that category to where, and it's kind of heartening to my heart when you see people on the side of the streets and you can't stop no more because you don't know what their motives are. But we got to bring back those old homiletics. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I had a kid to say yes to me the other day, and I ain't got no hair on my face, but it stood up. I'm like, come on. Who's your mama? Who's your dad? And we just got to get them back to old-fashioned homiletics. Let's start right there. Loving people. Trusting people. People loving people. People helping people.
Let me ask you this, though. You brought up a good point. I know you got some questions.
No,
but I get to talk and I get
that's
to talk.
Right. That's all right.
Because this is one thing I've noticed with young people that I think and I say we as grown men and grown people, we want respect.
Right.
You want you to call me yes, sir. Say yes, sir. but we don't want
Well,
to give respect.
Right.
Because they young don't mean they're not deserving of respect.
No.
Right.
And we automatically want to come on the scene sometimes and demand respect for our battle without recognizing their battle. Because we got kids going through stuff that some of us didn't see till we were grown.
Oh my God.
And some of us ain't never seen.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
And I think that's the thing, and I love you for that, is that modeling respect to these young people. Yeah, I see you. I see you. I really see you. And I want you to see me so that we can get to those basic things. But if we don't respect our kids and we don't show love toward them, why do we as a community expect them to respect us? I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm a hush because I keep going now. I get tired and I get angry when I see people say, man, look at them kids, pull their pants up. You know why I get so angry about that? Because my question is, do you know that kid? See, if you knew that kid, you can say, hey, come here. Well, you having a bad day. What's going on with you? You ain't got to say nothing. You just look at him.
Right.
And he'll start pulling them up. You ain't got to say nothing.
Right.
Oh, look at them. They got their underwear showing. But do you know the kid's name? If you can't even take time to know his or her name, then how you going to stand in criticism of that kid?
Right.
And so and that's what I like about this, men, come together.
Yes, sir.
Let's take some responsibility for our absence in the community.
Right.
And let these kids get to know us and know our struggle so that when they see us, they have a certain level of respect for us and they automatically want to do right.
Amen.
Because we used to do that. You know, you see the preacher coming, you get right.
Yes, sir.
You know
On Sunday.
Stuck in the military.
It's great.
Well, the event is Giving Back to Take Back. It's this Saturday, January 30th, from 12 noon to 4 p.m.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned Anna K. Davey, but it's the old Anna K. Davey Gymnasium
Yes,
on
sir.
Nixon.
Nixon Avenue, 301 Nixon Avenue. Yes, sir. 1 street over from Wells Rays, 100 Wilson Avenue.
That's it. Yeah, you know. Yeah, that's good. I did want to ask, is there a particular age group that you're aiming to attract, or?
No, we won't bring all, because you know what? I found out, I was working in the YDC, and I seen this little kid come in an orange outfit, and you know, you had to look up, and then when you look down, there he was, 8, 9 years old. You don't know where trouble is going. You don't know where confusion is going to start. So the best thing to do, even if they don't get it at that point, at least shake them. So we want to give them the truth and the reality, because the fact of the matter is that they see it at home every day. Every day. No age discretion.
All right, so they're all welcome.
Everybody's welcome. No fees. Free hamburgers and hot dogs as long as it lasts. After that, you have to rent a crystal.
And no advance tickets?
No
just
tickets.
Show up on Saturday at noon.
Yes, sir.
That's easy to remember. We're coming up in a few seconds here on our next break, but we will be back to give you some of the particulars of the event, so do not go away.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside of the classroom,
where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits toward my bachelor's.
My college is a top military-friendly college.
My college is affordable.
It's close to home.
My college is a state college within the University System of Georgia.
It's where excellence begins.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been talking with Bishop David McCluskey and Mr. Keith Henderson, and previously with Mr. Tim Worley about the event coming up this Saturday, Giving Back to Take Back, Saturday, January 30th from noon to 4 p.m. For community, young men in the community, all ages, trying to make a difference. With the lineup you've got, it sounds like you have an excellent chance. So
and also parents.
Parents as well.
Parents need to be made aware. We're trying to bring awareness to all.
All right, excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for what you're
Thank you for
doing,
inviting us.
and
Yes,
thank you for being on the
Thanks
show.
for having me.
Thank you for being with us. We will see you next week on Community Watch.